We now want to continue our look toward 2018 with Republican strategist Julianne Thompson and Democratic strategist Fred Hicks. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you
All
for
right.
having us.
So, first year of Donald Trump's presidency under wraps, under his belt. We had several regulations cut, Dow Jones, top 25,000, tougher stance regarding immigration, nomination of Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. What do you expect in year two?
Well, it's really hard to tell so far, but I expect a focus on tax policy, and also I expect the subject of DACA to deepen, as well as some sort of compromise with the Democrats to be made with regard to DACA and the wall. We'll see what happens.
Do you think that'll really pass, that he's going to be able to broker a deal there?
I don't know. We'll see.
That's an honest answer.
We'll see. I mean, it's a very difficult situation because on one hand, the American people expect Congress to get something done, but on the other hand, they also expect Trump to keep his promise with regard to building the wall. And the whole DACA issue is not the most popular issue among the Republican base that is supportive of Trump. So we'll see.
Fred, what do you expect in year two?
Yeah, I think the discussion around healthcare will continue. I also expect that international affairs will start to move to the forefront. We're already seeing a heated discussion between North Korea and the United States, and then as well with our partners, and with the whole move of in Israel of our embassy to Jerusalem. So I think you're going to see international affairs really sort of move to the forefront. And then third, as we go into the midterm elections, it'll be really interesting to see what the president does and what Congress decides to do with respect to legislation.
Now, speaking of international affairs, Americans have long been criticized for having a myopic point of view, that they only focus on the domestic. Couldn't this be perceived as good, that finally we're talking about these hot button issues?
Only if they weren't life and death, which right now, I mean, when you're talking about nuclear war or going to war with Venezuela or losing our allies over the move with the embassy, those things concern me. And so,
but don't people sometimes expect that that's just his talk, that's how he operates, that he's not really serious about that?
I think if it were just Trump, that's fine. But with the North Korean leader on the other side, launching missiles, testing missiles, and saying that now the U.S. is within striking distance of a nuclear missile, that changes it when you have two sides to the equation who are bombastic and somewhat temperamental.
Record low approval ratings for President Trump. Does he really care? He cares about his image, but does it matter?
I believe that he cares about his image, but I think first and foremost to him, it's about keeping his campaign promises. And I think that as long as he focuses on that, and as long as he focuses on doing the job that he promised during the campaign, he'll keep the approval rating of his base, which is most important to winning any primary in 2020, should he have some sort of viable candidate run against him. But as things stand right now, I really can't see there being any sort of viable alternative to Donald Trump in the Republican primary.
Closer at hand here, midterm elections. NBC News had something interesting saying that since the Civil War, on average, the president's political party has lost, on average, 32 House seats and 2 Senate seats. Democrats only need 24 seats.
Things usually shift when a new president is elected. Usually the next midterm goes to the opposing party. It happened with Barack Obama. It happened with George W. Bush. So looking ahead, I would seriously doubt that it would happen this time, but I think that if there is a time that it could happen, it's traditionally and historically during the first set of midterms. I don't believe that that is going to happen. I believe we're going to keep a majority, although I believe it's going to be a narrow majority.
Okay, Fred, let's switch to city politics. Atlanta mayoral election, it got ugly. It exposed some ugly racial divisions. What do we expect going forward here?
Well, I think that Mayor Lance Bottoms is going to work really, really hard to bridge those divides, because she really wants to be successful. I think we saw that in her inaugural speech the other day when she made reference to the term "One Atlanta," and you saw that actually trending on Twitter. So that's very good and that's very promising. But we do have a lot of, Mayor Reed left the city in a strong financial position. The challenge now for Mayor Lance Bottoms is to sort of spread that wealth and make sure that every part of the city feels like they have an active investment in being a part of Atlanta.
Now, I heard somebody speak about Mayor Reed saying that he was great for the city, but he wasn't necessarily great for the people of Atlanta. Do you agree or disagree, and why not going forward?
For Mayor Reed? I mean, he was undoubtedly successful in many different ways. It's hard to argue with his success, but at the same time, I think that you saw a very contentious mayoral race. And of course, Fred can tell you more about that than I can because he did work on those races, and I don't live in the city of Atlanta. But
as a Republican, what are you hoping to see?
As a Republican, I'm hoping to see more reaching across the aisle, as I think that the American people in general are hoping to see. I don't think it's a Republican or a Democrat thing. I think that people want to see both parties work together and do the job of the American people, in this case, do the job of the people of the city of Atlanta.
Okay, sounds very good. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
And stay with us. Public Affairs on Peach is coming right back.